So what do we do if it feels like we are waiting for our manifestation? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? What do we do if we get impatient? This is a question that I get asked relatively often, pretty much every single day, actually. So I figure it's a wonderful time to make a video talking about this. Because what most of us may not even be consciously realizing is that the feeling itself of impatience or waiting for your manifestation is key indication that we want to change our approach at how we are applying the law. So if you are somebody that is feeling impatient, if you are somebody that is struggling to see your desires come to pass, if it feels like you're constantly checking the watch, checking your phone, and watching the minutes and hours and days drag by, then you're going to want to stick around and watch this video, because today we're going to talk all about impatience and manifestation and how these two things go together like oil and water. And what to do if we ultimately feel this way, how we can go about changing this if we are noticing that we are feeling rather impatient. By the way, hi, I'm Missy Renee, and on this channel we talk all things manifestation and the law of assumptions. So if that's the topic that you want to learn more about, then be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon for notifications, and if you enjoy my videos, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're interested in any of my resources, such as coaching programs, workshops, or masterclasses, I have links to all of that down in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. So something that is quickly realized on this journey, whether you are new to this or perhaps been at this for a while, is that the 3D is kind of the bane of our existence. If you are here watching this video, it is more than likely that you have a desire to see your physical reality different than what it may currently look like. Hell, that's why all of us found ourselves here. But unfortunately, this is also the same reason as to why we find ourselves getting impatient or why we find ourselves waiting. And simply put, it's because we are waiting for the 3D to validate our desire. We're essentially looking and waiting for 3D validation. And this, my friend, is a trap that we want to avoid. If we are noticing feelings of impatience or waiting, or we're consistently remembering the time that it's been, this is clear indication that we are directing our attention and focus to the outside world. And though it is true that we ideally want the outside world to change, this is the least effective approach we can take. And sadly, it's one that virtually everybody falls into at some point on this journey. Because the paradox here is that the more that we continue to look at external states, look at the 3D environment, and judge from what we are perceiving on the outside, we are not going to see the change that we desire to see. Feelings of impatience is stemming from the fact that we are still looking at manifestation. We are looking at the law as a way to try to get something on the outside. And though, yes, we do desire something on the outside, this is ultimately not the approach we want to take, because the more that we are observing the non-movement of the 3D, the more that we are looking and waiting for that validation from the 3D, we're only bringing into awareness the fact that we don't have it. In fact, whenever you catch yourself waiting for your manifestation, checking the time, noticing how long it's been, wondering where the hell it is, all of these things are indication that in that moment, you are not living in the end. You are not in the state that you want to be in. And I know that this may sound completely backwards, and that's because it is. And what I mean by that is all of us have been conditioned in a way that is very backwards. And to understand this better, we need to go back to the basics of manifestation. We need to go back to the law 101. And that is, whatever we imagine and whatever we assume as true, whatever the beliefs and assumptions we hold about ourselves and other people and the world around us, whatever that might be, is what becomes reflected. So the 3D is only a reflection of your inner world, of these inner beliefs, assumptions, and convictions. So if I desire a change in my 3D and I do a technique, I run through the notions a couple of times, and then I look to see if it's working, that is feedback to myself that I am clearly not imagining and believing and assuming that I'm the person I want to be. Because if I was the person that I desire to be, I would not be looking for validation. I would not be feeling impatient, because you cannot feel impatient for something that you already are or that you already have. And this is by and far the most difficult thing that people struggle with. This was the biggest challenge that I struggled with, because like every one of you, I too was conditioned to see the 3D world as my real world. That was where I perceived my reality taking place. So of course, we are going to be complied to check out there to see if things are moving. And when they're not, we get impatient. We get frustrated. We start to think that we're doing something wrong. What am I doing wrong here? Why is nothing showing up? Why is everything still looking the same? All of these things, all of these thoughts, all of this feeling is stemming from the fact that you still do not believe that you are the person that you desire to be. The biggest mistake that we're making here is one that is all too common when we are new to this. We are looking at manifestation as a transactional approach. We're taking this very transactionally. The thought process usually goes that if I do ABC technique, then I'll get XYZ result. And that is very, very misleading at best, because though it's not entirely false, it's never the technique itself that is going to actually see your desires manifest. Instead, we have to remember that the techniques are tools for changing ourself. It's for changing how we feel. It's for changing what we are assuming. It is changing how we are reacting. They are to change self, not the 3D. And let's go to the mirror analogy to hopefully make a bit more sense of all this. If I'm standing in front of a mirror and I'm wearing the same outfit, same hair, but I want to look different, and yet I don't take any approach to change my appearance. I'm still very much the same, but I desire so badly to look different. And I'm looking in the mirror and I'm still seeing my reflection the same, and I'm getting impatient and frustrated as to why my reflection is not changing. But I want to look different. I don't want to have long hair anymore. I want to have short hair. I want to have a new outfit. Why is my reflection not showing me that? It's because I haven't changed. The reflection is not going to change until I do. Simple as that. And we're effectively taking the same approach with manifestation. We are getting frustrated that the mirror is not changing. We are getting impatient that the mirror is not changing when we in fact have not changed. So how on earth is that reflection going to show up any different? And by changing, to be abundantly clear, I mean changing our reactions, changing how we feel, noticing that our day-to-day thoughts are different, noticing that we are feeling different than we were before. If I am still noticing the same kind of thought patterns, if I am still noticing myself reacting as I normally would, if I find myself still buying into that old story, then I have, in fact, not changed yet. I am still operating from the same premise as when I had all of these unwanted things in my 3D. If we come away from all of these videos, all of the forums, all of the comments, all of the information that we're learning about the law, if we come away with only one thing, it has to be this. Your focus should always first and foremost be on the internal world. That is what we are aiming to change. We are not trying to change the 3D. This is a mentality that we must get ourselves out of if we want to get unstuck. If I am continuing to look to the 3D as my real world and it's full of limitations and barriers and impossibilities, and I am perceiving that to be true, then I'm going to continue being a slave to the 3D environment. I'm going to feel trapped and powerless to change anything. And we are feeling that impatience because we are still waiting on the 3D to change in order for us to change, instead of the other way around. We're still stuck in the mindset of, once I have this thing in 3D, then I will feel what I desire to feel. Once I finally get my person back, then I will feel loved and prioritized. Once I have that successful business, then I will feel abundant and satisfied. once I have all these things, then I will feel better. And if we do not change that way of thinking, we're going to be waiting a very long time to see change. Because the truth is, you can feel however you desire to feel in this very moment, despite what the 3D is reflecting right now. You can, in any given moment, at any time, go within your own wonderful human imagination and experience what you desire to experience to the point of fulfillment and satisfaction. You can elicit those responses within you right now. There is nothing to wait for. You can do that right now. This is why your imagination is your creative power, because you can give to yourself whatever it is that you desire to experience and whatever you desire to feel. If I want to feel loved and chosen and confident, I can go within, I can construct that world in my imagination to the point where I can feel that to be true. I can elicit the same feeling that the external circumstances give me by going within. And this is the most important thing that we can take away when it comes to the law, that you can give yourself whatever it is that you desire in here. Because so long as we are waiting on 3D validation, we are consistently going to return to the state of, I don't have it, I'm not this thing, I don't have this thing or this person, I feel very unloved, I feel very unwanted, I feel very scarce, I feel very sad, I feel very scared. All of these things are stemming from the fact that we are continuing to turn to the 3D for confirmation and then accepting whatever it is showing us, not realizing or not remembering that it is all just the reflection, nothing more and nothing less. The 3D is just a perfect replication, it's a perfect outpicturing of you, of your beliefs, your assumption, your conviction. And if we do not change those beliefs and assumptions and convictions, though we might see some things rearranged in the 3D, if I still have those same beliefs, I'm going to see the same old patterns, no matter what. Which is why what I emphasized over and over again on this channel, and will continue to do so, is that there is no one to change but self. Again, we are never trying to change the 3D here. We have to let this idea go if we want to see success. Or at the very least, we have to understand that 3D success comes first through the change that we make within ourselves. Because once we realize that we can have anything that we desire within us, we need to take back our power that we have unintentionally given to our 3D circumstance. We have to break away from our dependence of the 3D in order to feel happy or fulfilled or satisfied. Because our true power lies in that we can give ourselves any kind of experience and any kind of feeling that we want internally. My 3D world can look complete and total opposite, and it doesn't matter, because no matter where I am, no matter what the circumstance, I always and forever have the ability to go within. And once we understand this, we no longer have to wait for our 3D in order to feel what we ultimately desire. And yes, your desire is ultimately a feeling that you want, not the 3D circumstance itself. You desire your person because of how they make you feel. You desire that new house because how you believe it will make you feel. You desire anything in this 3D world because of how it makes you feel. And we know this is true because if that person didn't make you feel that way, you wouldn't want that person. So it's ultimately the feeling that we want anyways. And we always have the power to give that to ourselves. We can always allow ourselves to feel through the creative power of imagination. Because in imagination, there are no barriers. There are no obstacles. There is no waiting for something to happen. Give that to yourself and enjoy it in this moment. And once you realize this, once you understand that you can give yourself that feeling of satisfaction anytime, you will not be inclined to look for it in the 3D. Because you won't have to go seeking for the validation that you crave. And to be abundantly clear, this is in no way implying that you shouldn't desire your 3D experience. We're all here having a 3D experience, and of course we desire to have it in the physical world. But my point here is that in order to see it in our physical world, we have to first change how we are thinking and feeling and what we are assuming about it. We have to remember that if the 3D is just purely reflection of my inner beliefs and assumptions, then I need to change the inner beliefs and assumptions in order to see the 3D replication. So the 3D experience is the natural byproduct of whatever you're feeling and believing and assuming anyways. So give yourself the joy and satisfaction in imagination. Go big and bold in your imagination because it is yours. That is your kingdom. That is the kingdom of heaven within you. And this feeling is one of complete and total freedom. Once you are no longer at the mercy of your 3D, once you understand that you are the one that holds the creative power here, that you are never at the behest of your 3D environment in order to feel happy or to feel satisfied, that you can give that to yourself first, and that must be replicated. That the 3D is just the fruits of the seeds that we are planting in the mind. Once this is understood, you will no longer have to wait for anything. You will no longer be impatient for something that you already have. The ultimate irony here is that the less that you are focused on time and the less you are focused on the 3D, the faster it will come in. And you will begin to reap the benefits and the fruits of the seeds that you planted in imagination. So tend to that garden and allow yourself to enjoy it right now. That is how you are going to ultimately manifest literally anything you desire. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope this served as a good reminder, or I hope you found it helpful if this was new to you. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in any of my resources, such as my coaching programs, my workshops, masterclasses, my podcast, my blog, my social channels, got a ton of great resources down in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. Also, be sure to check out the other videos on this channel. Be sure to check out my Manifestation Fundamentals playlist. Each video is a different topic, but it all pertains in how to manifest the best life ever. So until we meet next time, as always, please take care of yourself, be well, and never forget that your power always lies within you, and you never have to wait to experience what you want on the inside. Happy manifesting, guys.